first story is titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to help pay for my father's cancer treatment even though I'm wealthy? Growing up, I always knew I wasn't my parents' favorite kid. I wasn't treated bad, but my brothers were always treated better than me. My birthday parties were only a homemade cake, 2 guest max, and no presents. Well, my brothers had store-bought cakes, as many friends as they wanted to invite, and presents for them. This is only one example, but people with parents like mine will understand. Also, my brothers were encouraged to attend college and received financial help from my parents for it. When I was 6 months away from my 18th birthday, my father told me I better start looking for jobs because he had complied with his legal obligations towards me and wanted me out of the house the day after my birthday, and I could only take 1 change of clothes as all of my belongings had been bought with his money. 6 months later, when I was saying my goodbyes, I was telling my brothers I would be seeing them on Christmas and other holidays. When father heard this, he laughed and told me I wouldn't be allowed at family events until I paid him back for all the expenses he had made raising me. I was dumbfounded by his comment and asked how much I had to pay. He said $5,000, which was a lot of money back then, especially for an unemployed 18-year-old with a high school degree and a change of clothes in his backpack. I think he wasn't expecting me to pay it back. I was extremely lucky. A friend's parents let me stay with them, and I found a job doing landscaping. The owner of the landscaping company took me under his wing and treated me like a son. He had no kids of his own. Sadly, he passed away 11 years after we met. He left me his landscaping business, which is very profitable and allows me to make 6 figures without much effort. So now, I live a very comfy life managing the business. I'm single without kids and live a middle-class lifestyle, so I have a hefty savings account. I think I could retire at 45. Needless to say, I've never talked to my father since that day. I kept seeing my brothers, although they had to keep it a secret from father. I also cut contact with my mother because I resented her for not standing up for me. A couple months ago, my mother asked to talk to me. Long story short, my father has cancer. It was discovered at an early-ish stage, and his chances of survival are good, but the treatment is very expensive. They've sold everything, including the house, and are up to their neck in debt. My mom, knowing I'm well off, asked me to help pay for my father's treatment, so in that very moment, I wrote her a check for $5,000 and told her my debt with him was settled and to not expect a cent more from me. She started crying, and I left. My brother started messaging me a few hours later, telling me I'm the a-hole. Am I? Now let's read the top comments. Not the a-hole, and frankly, I'm shocked you didn't laugh in her face when she asked. I'm curious why he treated you so differently. Any chance you're not his kid? Not that it would change my answer, just curious. I don't know, but that's one of my theories. I'm the eldest kid. Not the a-hole. My thoughts too, as I was reading your story. It'd line up, including your mom not standing up for you. At any rate, your brothers may not like it and cut ties with you, but deep down they know your reasons, and those reasons are rock solid. Not the a-hole. Your father treated you terribly, and your mom stood by and turned her back on you. You wouldn't owe them the money, even if they had been perfect parents. It's appalling that they would even come to you like this. Your brothers are grieving and seem to have different parents than yours even in the same house. They're entitled to be sad, but they are old enough to recognize that you were excommunicated and should not be lashing out at you either. Yup, Opie doesn't owe them a dime, since parents are obligated to provide for their minor children, though the $5,000 was a fantastic touch to help close the book entirely. The brothers are obviously coming from a completely different place that never had to deal with any of the crap Opie did, so it's pretty damn ignorant to judge Opie to be an a-hole here. If they know themselves Opie is hated enough by the dad that they have to keep their relationship with Opie a secret, why would they think that Opie should do a damn thing for the dad? There's gotta be a lot more to this story as to why the dad or parents mistreated Opie the way they did. But bottom line is, Opie doesn't owe the dad anything, and it doesn't sound like there's any other decent reason to help either. Not the a-hole. Don't let your siblings guilt trip you. You're free of your debt to him now. I see some comments asking if there's a chance of you not being his child, and honestly, I thought the same. So if that's a possibility, then even less you have an obligation towards him. Yeah, Opie, get a DNA test. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my parents it's their fault we're all a bunch of fat ass? I'm 15 and I'm fat as F, and I'm so disgusted by how I look. I'm 6'1", like 185 centimeters, and weigh 320 pounds or 150 kilos. Some of it is muscle. I do lift weights, but still, I'm a porker. My sister is 5'6", so like 167 centimeters. and 220 pounds or 100 kilos, so she is probably worse than me. My parents are 5'11 and 5'7 and weigh 350 pounds, 160 kilograms, and 250 pounds or 120 kilograms. I don't know how much my other family members weigh, but some of these lard-asses use the mobility scooters at Walmart to go shopping. I decided to change this. I have been running daily and trying to eat healthy. Problem is, our diets consist mostly of fast food, frozen pizzas, chicken nuggets, and other fried craps. I told my parents at the grocery store to buy us more fruit and vegetables. I'm going to just eat fruits, vegetables, and fish. Healthy fish like salmon, not deep-fried stuffs. Parents often refuse to buy it and tell me I'm not special or they're too expensive, etc. We're not even poor, for God's sake. We're like upper middle class. We were at McDonald's drive-thru for the 4th time in a week, and parents asked me what I wanted. I said I'm not interested, and I'll eat some apples at home, and they told me to get something because they're not getting me other food. I lost my crap and said, "This is why we're all a bunch of disgusting fat asses. You have fed us nothing but garbage our whole life and never instilled good nutritional values in us. Now I got a lot of work to do to burn this off." Yet you guys still wonder why Grandpa died from a heart attack at 60. None of us will live much longer if we don't change. They screamed as loud as they could to shut the F up, or I'd be grounded. Drive-thru people overheard this through the microphone, and he awkwardly interrupted trying to finish our order. When we got home, parents yelled at me about respect. I told them they're a bunch of hypocrites, seeing how they don't even respect their own buddies. Now I'm grounded, and they took away my phone. They forgot I have an iPad though. Also, I lost 30 pounds in the last 4 weeks. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole, well done for your weight loss. That's amazing. If your parents won't support you with your weight loss, you could look at reducing your portion sizes and looking for a part-time job so you can buy your own groceries. It's unfortunate, but they may not change. Get into cooking and exploring tasty food that makes you feel good. Also, even fast food places have some healthier options, even if you have to modify. McDonald's, a grilled chicken sandwich, no mayo. Jack in the Box, chicken fajita pita, just examples. Good job on your weight loss and choice to eat better. The challenge is trying to make the best choices with whatever you have available. The salads from McDonald's are actually pretty tasty. Obviously, they still have bacon, and the dressing isn't the healthiest, but get grilled chicken salad, then be selective/careful or forgo the dressing. Not the a-hole. Good on you for looking after your own health, and I'm so sorry to hear your family are not feeding you a healthy diet. They probably knew what you were saying was true deep down, felt attacked, and wanted to ignore the problem. Bringing up your grandpa would have been a painful point for them, but it just seemed like they're not ready to hear it. My best mate had the same problem, and since her family refused to improve their diets, all she could do was choose healthy options whenever she could, and exercise a good 3 times a week. It still works, just takes a little longer. When you're an adult, you will have a total control over what you eat, and I promise that's not far away. Ask them to get in cheaper basics like potatoes, rice, chicken, bags of salad, fresh vegetables, and key spices to season everything with. Make sure you're losing weight a healthy way though. Apples for dinner is not appropriate. You need energy for the exercise you want. Cardio is a little better for shifting weight than muscle exercises in my opinion, but you do what makes you comfortable. YouTube stretching exercises to relax your muscles before and after you work out. Not the a-hole, but don't starve yourself. Get salads with protein at the fast food places. Educate yourself in nutrition to make sure you get the fat and vitamins you need to be healthy. Edit. Always check calorie content. If you get a salad, you can skip croutons or go light on dressing. You can also go for grilled chicken with light or no mayo. Basically, control what you can within the ability you have. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for being brutally honest about my experience having teen parents and embarrassing them? I'm 23 and I'm just starting college. I had to wait to go to college because I went to extremely crappy schools growing up and I got an awful education. I ended up working and going to community college just so I could save up and apply to a proper bachelor's program. Because of the current situation, I had to move back into my parents' home. My roommates work as nurses and I wasn't feeling safe. My parents had me when they were in high school. They try their best, but teenagers have no business raising a kid. We struggled most of my childhood, and they only ever became stable when I turned 17. I now have 2 younger siblings who are 5 and 2. We had a family Zoom call recently with my aunt, uncles, and grandparents. We had a normal chit-chat. Then my aunt said she was so proud of my parents for stepping up and raising a successful child. This is where I may have been an a-hole. I kinda scoffed/laughed when I heard my aunt say that. Then my aunt asked, "What's that supposed to mean?" And I kind of just vented my entire issues of being raised by two immature teenagers who didn't know what they were doing. That I went to crappy schools and live in crappy neighborhoods, and that I was borderline neglected. And now, I'm 4 years behind other people my age. We just ended a Zoom call at that point. I never vocalized my issues before, but I did that night. I told them they were not good parents to me, and while I love them, I don't really respect them. And that frankly, I'm pretty bitter and jealous seeing my parents be better parents to my siblings than they ever were to me. My parents were very upset, and they apologized. They told me they tried their best. I just locked myself in my room for the rest of the night and refused to talk to my parents. The next day, I decided to move back to my rented room, but my dad stopped me and was in tears as he apologized again. Now, my parents are on this weird mission to make it all up to me, which apparently involves some sort of promise to pay my student loans. All this feels too little and too late for me, but I am still staying in their house because I have asthma and can't afford to get sick. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. You're the a-hole. Yes, they were young. No, they aren't perfect. If it was that bad, you wouldn't be home now. You are lucky they let you come back, and frankly, you seem ungrateful. At your age, they were caring for a child. You aren't even taking care of yourself independently. Right, he is home mooching off his parents, but woe is him because they stepped up when they were young and couldn't give him everything he wanted. Right? My response would be, I'm sorry you feel that way. Now since we suck so much, I assume you'll either be moving out or paying rent. Which would you like? Free ride stops when you start crapping on your parents. You're the a-hole. You're 23. At what age do you stop blaming your parents and start taking responsibility for your own life? By the way, there are plenty of people who grew up in situations much worse than yours and are able to make something of themselves. People from crappy schools still get into decent colleges all of the time, and people who grew up without money are still able to prosper. Life is what you make it. If you've done nothing but make excuses for yourself and bash your parents, then it makes sense why you are so behind other people your age. Grow up. Agreed. And funny how Opie says going to crappy schools was the problem, but it took 4 years to get an AA or to transfer to a state school? Maybe it's Opie's work ethic that is the bigger problem. You're the a-hole. Wow. So firstly, you have the nerve to say you had terrible parents, yet here you are, at 23, mooching off of them. Okay, if they are so bad, move out and cut contact. Secondly, that's super petty and shallow to air out dirty laundry in a family Zoom meeting. If you felt so strongly about yourself, parents, why not tell them in person face-to-face why you feel so upset instead of airing out your dirty laundry? Thirdly, your education partly falls on you. Blame the system all you want, but part of your failures is you didn't apply yourself enough. No one wants to hear it or say it, but you didn't work hard enough to make up for your inadequacies. Fourth, you're an a-hole because regardless of this post, you're still going to continue mooching off your parents' kindness. You'll still live rent-free. You'll still let them pay off student loans, and you'll likely still bash them. Not cool. No words, Opie. I'm just disappointed. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe.